In K-pop, talent may bring attention, performance may build a fandom, but visuals create something even more immediate: presence. The kind of presence that makes people stop scrolling, replay a stage, or remember a face after seeing it only once. And when we talk about the new generation of male K-pop idols who embody that kind of magnetic, almost unreal beauty, three names always rise to the surface: Jaehyun, Hyunjin, and Mingyu. But this video is not just about who is handsome, because in K-pop, being called a visual is one thing. Becoming a true male heartthrob, the kind of idol whose image shapes trends, dominates fan cams, and turns simple appearances into moments, is something else entirely. It is about aura, camera power, charisma, and the strange ability to feel untouchable and familiar at the same time. So among Jaehyun, Hyunjin, and Mingyu, who truly defines the image of the modern K-pop male icon? By the end of this video, the answer may feel obvious, but the reasons behind that ranking are where the real story begins. The phrase male heartthrob gets used a lot in K-pop, but not every handsome idol truly fits it. There are many idols with strong visuals, sharp features, and undeniable stage appeal. But a real heartthrob is something more specific. He is not just admired, he is remembered. He creates a reaction the moment he appears on screen. He has the kind of face, presence, and energy that can turn a performance, a fan cam, an airport look, or even a few seconds of eye contact into a viral moment. And that is why this ranking is not simply about beauty in the most basic sense. Because if this were only about facial features, the conversation would be much easier and much less interesting. In K-pop, visual power becomes much stronger when it is combined with something else: aura. The way an idol carries himself, the way the camera responds to him, the way fans and even casual viewers project fantasy, elegance, danger, softness, or mystery onto him. Sometimes the most unforgettable male gods are not just the most conventionally handsome. They are the ones who make beauty feel like a full identity. So for this ranking, we are looking at more than looks alone. First, there is visual impact, the immediate power of their appearance and how instantly recognizable they feel. Second, there is charisma, the quality that transforms good looks into something magnetic on stage and on camera. Third, there is public image, how strongly each idol embodies the idea of a modern K-pop heartthrob in the eyes of fans and the wider audience. And finally, there is consistency of aura, whether they can maintain that captivating image across performances, styling concepts, public appearances, and different eras. That is why Jaehyun, Hyunjin, and Mingyu make such a fascinating top three. All three are undeniably attractive, but they represent three very different kinds of appeal. One feels timeless and polished, one feels dramatic and almost cinematic, and one feels warm, powerful, and effortlessly charming. And that difference is exactly what makes the final ranking so hard to ignore. If there is one idol in this lineup who feels almost designed to represent classic K-pop male beauty, it is Jaehyun. What makes Jaehyun so striking is not just that he is handsome. K-pop is full of handsome men. What sets him apart is the particular kind of image he projects: balanced, polished, elegant, and almost effortlessly complete. With some idols, the appeal comes from intensity. With others, it comes from unpredictability or edge. But with Jaehyun, the power is in how naturally he fits the fantasy of the modern male idol visual. He does not look like he is trying to become the image. He looks like the image already belongs to him. And that gives him a very specific kind of strength. Jaehyun's appeal feels clean in the best possible way. His face has the kind of symmetry and calm refinement that reads instantly on camera. But what makes him memorable is how that beauty is supported by presence. He carries himself with control. He rarely feels rushed, overly exaggerated, or desperate to claim attention. Instead, he creates the impression that attention will come to him anyway. That sense of ease matters enormously in K-pop because true heartthrob energy often comes not from chasing the camera, but from making the camera feel drawn to you. That is exactly what Jaehyun does. He has the kind of visual identity that works across almost every context. On stage, he can feel sleek and composed. In photo shoots, he can feel luxurious and almost untouchable. In more casual moments, he still retains that polished charm that keeps his image intact. This consistency is one of the strongest arguments in his favor. Many idols are stunning under the right styling, the right lighting, the right concept. But Jaehyun has the kind of face and aura that remain convincing across different eras and moods. He does not rely on transformation to impress. He relies on the stability of an already powerful image. And that stability is important. Because when fans talk about male K-pop gods, they are often responding not just to beauty, but to the feeling of completeness. The idol seems to embody a fantasy so clearly that the image becomes instantly recognizable. Jaehyun fits that idea exceptionally well. He represents a version of attractiveness that feels both aspirational and controlled. There is softness in his visual appeal, but also maturity. There is elegance, but never coldness. He feels premium without becoming distant, and familiar without losing star quality. That balance is extremely difficult to maintain, and it is one of the main reasons his image has remained so powerful. What also makes Jaehyun stand out is that his charisma never needs to become loud in order to be effective. Some idols dominate through force. Jaehyun dominates through restraint. He can look directly into the camera and create impact without dramatic movement, exaggerated expression, or obvious performance tricks. That kind of control often creates a deeper pull, because it feels natural rather than manufactured. And that is why Jaehyun is such a serious contender in this ranking. He represents the timeless version of the new generation male heartthrob. Elegant, stable, visually flawless, and consistently magnetic. He may not be the most explosive presence on this list, but he embodies the kind of beauty that endures because it feels almost definitive. Still, the next idol brings something very different, something sharper, moodier, and far more dangerous. If Jaehyun represents elegance and balance, then Hyunjin represents something far more dramatic. Beauty that feels intense, artistic, and almost cinematic. What makes Hyunjin such a powerful presence is that his appeal does not come across as purely polished or traditionally safe. Instead, it feels emotional. He is the kind of idol whose visuals do not just register as handsome, they create atmosphere. The moment he appears on stage or on camera, there is usually a stronger sense of mood around him. Something sharper, more expressive, and more unpredictable. And that difference matters, because a true heartthrob is not only someone people admire, it is someone who can make admiration feel charged. That is where Hyunjin becomes especially compelling. His features are striking on their own, but what elevates them is the way he uses them. His eyes, expressions, posture, and movement all contribute to an image that feels alive rather than static. Some idols are visually impressive in photos. Hyunjin is often most overwhelming in motion. He has the kind of face that can look soft in one frame and dangerously intense in the next, and that flexibility gives him enormous power as a visual performer. He does not just wear concepts well, he transforms with them. And that transformation is one of his greatest advantages. Because in K-pop, the idols who become true male gods are often the ones who can make different styling choices feel like different worlds without losing their identity. Hyunjin does that exceptionally well. Whether the concept leans dark, ethereal, seductive, or emotionally raw, he has the ability to stretch his image without breaking it. Instead of feeling inconsistent, he feels expansive. Fans are not simply drawn to how he looks. They are drawn to how many versions of beauty he can embody while still remaining unmistakably himself. There is also something about Hyunjin's charisma that feels unusually direct. He does not fade into a group frame, and he does not need subtlety to make an impression. His presence can be almost confrontational in the best way, the kind that grabs attention immediately and refuses to let go. That intensity gives him a different kind of heartthrob energy from Jaehyun. Where Jaehyun pulls people in through calm control, Hyunjin often hits with force, emotion, and visual drama. And that is exactly why he belongs so high in this conversation. Because Hyunjin represents the more dangerous side of modern K-pop male beauty, the kind that feels expressive, theatrical, and impossible to ignore. He does not simply look like a visual, he looks like a moment waiting to happen. If Jaehyun represents refined elegance, and Hyunjin represents dramatic intensity, then Mingyu represents something equally powerful, but much more grounded, beauty that feels warm, masculine, and effortlessly magnetic. What makes Mingyu stand out is that his appeal does not rely on mystery alone. He is undeniably striking, but the effect is different from idols whose visuals feel distant or untouchable. With Mingyu, there is a rare balance between model-like impact and natural charm. He has the height, proportions, and facial structure that immediately command attention, yet he also carries an energy that feels open rather than cold. That combination is incredibly effective in K-pop, because it allows him to be admired not just as a visual, but as a presence people feel instantly comfortable being drawn to. And that is part of what makes him so dangerous. Mingyu has the kind of look that works on first glance. He does not need a complicated concept to be impressive. Even in simpler styling, he still projects the image of someone born to stand out. But what pushes him higher in this conversation is the fact that his visual power never feels stiff. He does not look like someone trapped inside his own beauty. He looks like someone who knows exactly how to carry it with ease. That ease gives his image a natural confidence, and in many cases, confidence is what transforms good looks into full heartthrob status. That is exactly what happens with Mingyu. His charm also benefits from contrast. On one hand, he has a very strong physical image, tall, broad, masculine, undeniably polished. On the other hand, he often gives off warmth, playfulness, and accessibility. That contrast is incredibly appealing because it keeps his image from becoming one-dimensional. He can look like a luxury campaign model in one moment and feel bright, easygoing, and almost boyish in the next. Instead of weakening his aura, that flexibility strengthens it. It allows him to embody a version of male attractiveness that feels complete, powerful, handsome, but still human. And that matters. Because some idols become visual icons through distance. Mingyu becomes one through presence. He feels vivid, alive, and consistently watchable. The camera responds to him not only because he is handsome, but because he fills the frame in a way that feels both strong and natural. He does not need excessive stylization to become memorable. His image is persuasive on its own. That is why Mingyu is such an important name in this top 3. He represents the warmest and most physically commanding version of the new generation K-pop heartthrob, the idol whose beauty feels immediate, whose charm feels effortless, and whose aura makes admiration feel almost automatic. Now the real question is, among Jaehyun, Hyunjin, and Mingyu, which type of male visual power rises to the top? What makes this ranking so interesting is that Jaehyun, Hyunjin, and Mingyu do not represent the same kind of male beauty. All 3 are undeniably handsome. All 3 have strong stage presence. All 3 have the kind of visual power that can dominate a thumbnail, a fan cam, or a single close-up. But the reason this top 3 works is because each of them defines the idea of a modern K-pop heartthrob in a completely different way. Jaehyun represents timeless elegance. His appeal is polished, balanced, and incredibly consistent. He feels like the kind of idol who can embody luxury, calm confidence, and classic visual perfection without ever looking like he is trying too hard. His strength lies in restraint. He does not need dramatic styling or overpowering movement to create impact. He simply looks like he belongs in the role of a top-tier visual. Hyunjin represents cinematic intensity. His beauty is more emotional, more expressive, and more dangerous. He feels like the idol who can turn a performance into a visual event. Where Jaehyun draws people in through control, Hyunjin commands attention through transformation. He shifts with concepts, creates atmosphere, and makes his face feel like part of the performance itself. He is not just handsome. He is visually unforgettable in motion, and Mingyu represents warm, masculine magnetism. His appeal is immediate, strong, and incredibly natural. He combines model-like physical presence with a charm that feels approachable, which makes his image especially powerful. He does not just look good in front of the camera, he looks comfortable there. His aura feels effortless, and that ease gives him an advantage few idols truly have. And now, the ranking. At number 3 is Jaehyun. That may surprise some people because in terms of pure elegance and visual stability, Jaehyun is almost unmatched. But this ranking is not only about being handsome in a classic sense, it is about who most strongly embodies the full fantasy of a new generation male heartthrob. Jaehyun is stunning, refined, and consistently magnetic. But compared to the two names above him, his appeal feels slightly more controlled than overwhelming. He is the timeless visual. But in this particular ranking, timelessness lands at number 3. At number 2 is Mingyu. Mingyu earns this position because his appeal is both immediate and broad. He has strong physical visuals, natural charm, and the kind of aura that feels powerful without ever becoming distant. He embodies a version of male attractiveness that is very easy for the public to respond to. Handsome, masculine, warm, and highly watchable. He feels like the kind of idol who does not need a specific concept to shine because his presence already does so much of the work. And at number 1 is Hyunjin. Because among these three, Hyunjin most fully captures the idea of the modern K-pop male heartthrob as a visual experience. He is not just attractive, he is dramatic, expressive, and impossible to ignore. His image changes with mood, concept, and performance, but never loses its identity. He creates moments, he creates fantasy. He creates the kind of screen presence that makes people stop, stare, and remember. And maybe that is what defines a true male god in K-pop. Not just beauty, not just popularity, but the ability to turn appearance into atmosphere, charisma into memory, and every glance into impact. So in the end, Jaehyun gives us elegance, Mingyu gives us magnetism, and Hyunjin gives us intensity. 3 different types of visual power, 3 different ways to become unforgettable, and one name that rises above the rest.